Hi, I'm Jim Burns, and I'm the president of Homeward in Southern California, and I'll be answering questions from Google. How can a single mom or dad deal with empty nesting? Actually, when I started looking at empty nesting, a lot of times people think of couples in the empty nest, but there's a lot of singles in the empty nest, millions and millions. Two huge losses: the loss of their child, and they had a different relationship oftentimes because it was just them and their child. And so in that the single empty nest is really quiet when those kids are gone. But also, sometimes you have to deal with the huge loss of divorce or death and revisit that. And I think the people who are single moms and single dads, they stay in relationship with their adult children, but not the same relationship. But they stay in relationship, and so they just reinvent the relationship. Also, it's a time for them to find more meaningful relationships outside of it. And here's another thing I would say. You can't let your adult kids be the people that you're getting all of your emotional health from. And so you're gonna have to find people more, well, frankly, your age, and around in your same season of life who could help you. Single empty nesting isn't easy, but there are so many people who are single and in the empty nest who really have found great joy in their relationship with their kids by kind of reinventing it, great joy in their own life because they leaned into it. Not always easy, but so necessary. How can you find joy in the empty nest? It's a great question. It's possible, it really is. Sometimes people get so in touch with the negativity that they forget that, no, there's great joy in the empty nest. This is the time to find more meaning in life and actually experience more joy with less heartache. Have serious fun. Honestly, when I was getting my PhD, I studied traits of a healthy family, and I wrote my dissertation on that. Do you know what one of the strongest traits of a healthy family is? Of a healthy person? Play, fun. And so again, in the empty nest, you have more time. Your kids are gone. So why not pick up whatever it is? I don't care if it's pickleball or if it's long walks on, around the lake or the park, if it's having coffee with a friend, whatever makes you have fun, whatever it is. So in that, I'm not saying that that's just a simple thing that will make all of your problems go away, but really you can find joy in that. Then you find joy in relationships. And so focus on relationships. And if you're married, you find joy in your marriage. So it's time to lean into your marriage and rekindle romance, rekindle the relationship. So it's an awesome thing. And frankly, people who are thriving do have deep joy from the empty nest. How do you rediscover yourself after becoming an empty nester? It's a great question because you use the word rediscover. Everybody's going to do this differently. I'm going to tell you about Mike and Linda. They got in a car right after they dropped their last kid off at college. Now they were empty nesters, and they had some empty nest syndrome sadness going. And they spent 2 weeks driving in the car. They went on a great trip. They had never done that. They'd done some shorter trips with their kids, but this was a long trip. And in that trip, they were focused on, what are we going to do with the rest of our life? They were 50 years old. They realized that they would spend more time in the empty nest than with their kids for those 2 decades. And so in that time, they made simple goals and they created some action pieces that were really, really good, both individually and as a couple. And then they kind of started a dream list. I mean, what can we do, not just in the next year, but what can we do in the next 10 years? And some of it was travel, some of it was thinking about what their activities were going to be within their church and within the business. And they even talked about retirement, which was not going to happen really soon. But what would that look like? What did they want the relationship to look like with their kids? And they actually did a real logical thing where they had this conversation. But it was a 2-week conversation that became a 2-year conversation because they continued to have those conversations. Some of them they just checked off because it was a goal. We're going to do that, see? So what happened was they did rediscover a new way of doing life by not taking everything aside, but by just tweaking some things. And they looked back 2 years later and said, wow, we came a long way in a couple of years. And they did it because they were proactive and they were intentional. Well, thanks for watching. And if you like this content and you want to see more, please like and subscribe below.